Hello and welcome to HID All Access, a podcast focusing on physical access control systems. What are the trends, what are the drivers, and what are the benefits? Today we are discussing new cases enabled by mobile IDs, how to drive adoption of mobile IDs, overcoming barriers and customer objections, and is there still a place for plastic? Over to my expert advisors, Sanjit Bardhan, Phil Coppola, and Jason Schimpf.
There's another point that I'd like to talk about is what I personally have coined as the use case explosion. Mobile offers fundamentally different use cases over and above what plastic provides. And as we start seeing a bunch of use cases coming in, the importance of our technology partners that are able to address these varying use cases of our end users becomes reality. Today we've got over 300 technology partners, 170 plus of them continue to bring about unique, innovative solutions to our end customers, addressing every single unique need of our end customers. End users may have a certain need today and may have an additional need tomorrow, and that's where the power of our technology integrations come in. So we are very proud of that, and we are very proud about the fact that we are able to address our technology partners' needs for our end users.
We refer to them as a technology partner piece, but in their own space, they're individual companies that have solved problems for these end users that are making end user organizations a lot easier to navigate. Think about bringing on a brand new employee, and they've got all these different business systems they have to learn. As you're looking at, as you mentioned before, ordering coffee, where do I go, where are the meeting rooms? And it could just be what's on the menu for today, or hey, what kind of social events are going on this week? Because I just relocated from a different part of the world, different part of the country, and I want to go socially meet my coworkers and such. These apps make that experience easy for them. And having a mobile credential that they can just build right into that and push it into the wallet, and it makes it really easy.
Well, and not only does it make it easier for the user, but it also drives adoption for the app. Some of these companies are spending millions of dollars developing these bespoke experience apps that have limited adoption rates because it's like, do I really need to know if it's Taco Tuesday? Do I really need to know if there's something going on in the office? I'm sure I can kind of hear it around the water cooler. Is there a real point to this? Whereas if you put the credential in that app, well, now that's a reason to have it. Now I walk into my facility, I walk into the base building perhaps, or to my company's office, I present my phone to the reader, and I get a push notification that tells me, hey, by the way, elevator number 3 is down for service for X amount of time. It is Taco Tuesday today. Go grab yourself a taco. And a wide variety of other use cases that you just simply can't do with plastic.
You know, years ago it was about how can I get into the building, what is the most secure way to do this, how can I have a little bit of control, and now it's about building. You know, we've got a foundational layer of mobile access, what can we build on top of that, what advantages can we give the business? So, I mean, I think the key takeaway is why would you stay with plastic, right? There are still some use cases out there in different verticals and different industries, but overall, it doesn't make any sense anymore to stay with plastic.
HID is pushed all in on mobile. Right? I mean, Sanjit, you can speak to the investment that HID has put into mobile. I think the numbers sort of speak for themselves.
We started seeing the demand. I mean, we've been in this industry for a while. We have great insights coming in from end users. We've got great insights coming in from our channel partner ecosystem. And as a result, we said, let's put some serious investment and thought process into building our mobile strategy. So we've got a dedicated mobile business organization which wakes up every morning and thinks about only one thing: how do we drive the adoption of mobile in the industry, not just in North America, but globally across the world. We've got a massive engineering and product management team that's focused around building great products. We've got a business development team. Phil, you're doing so much of that every day. We've got a partner organization. The more that partners adopt to our strategy and are able to bring about great solutions for our end customers, so we have a team that manages that. We have a team that manages our technology giants. Jason, you're leading that. So we've put in a significant amount of investment, and we know that this investment is actually not just good for HID, but actually good for the industry, because we will would like to drive the adoption of mobile because we feel that that's the right thing to do. As we are seeing so much demand around some of these drivers that we spoke around, environmental sustainability goals, we spoke around, the different kinds of user demands that are coming in, use case explosion. All of that has led us to make these investments.
One of the departments that you kind of skirted over, I think, is a huge differentiator for the investments that we make, and that is an entire sales engineering pre-sales team that's dedicated all they do is mobile. That's it. They can do the app-based experience, they're doing the wallet experience, and so they hold the hand of the end users and through the channel partners and with the technology partners to bring the entire system together to make sure that the end user has exactly what they need for their specific environment, and that when they go live with it, it's ready to rock.
And that talks about one of the biggest barriers today, and that is complexity of deploying mobile. And we understood that, and we understand that a lot of our end users will think about this being a complex solution, and this indeed it is. It is more complex than deploying a plastic credential, but again, complexity is a very relative term. It's about how complicated manufacturers make it for the end users. And I can proudly say, and Jason, to attest to your point, we have a mobile acceleration team which wakes up in the morning just doing that, understanding what the end user wants and helping our channel partners and our technology partners implement state-of-the-art solutions to make that barrier go away.
So in talking about industries that have adopted mobile in mass form, if you like, what about the ones that are still migrating? You know, there's obviously a certain mix of tenants or employees or the workforce that still need a physical card as opposed to mobile. There's a lot of industries like that. Can you talk to that at all, Sanjit?
Sure. There is market data which gives us an indication as to how quickly the world of mobile is growing globally. And statistically, we've been shown that the market for mobile access is going to grow at a compound annual growth rate of about 45% over the next 5 years. But the market for plastic is also going to grow, albeit at very low single-digit numbers. We'll be looking at about 4.5% for the next 5 years as well, which is evidence that these two industries will coexist because of certain use cases. And I know, Phil, you come across a lot of use cases where end users continue to want to use plastic. I can give you one example where photo identification is a very important need for the customer. It's a regulatory need as well as it's a cultural need for an organization where the badge shows visually the photo of the employee. But there are other industries as well. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, look at HID. As an organization, we've made the choice to go mobile. When I come to the building today, I present my phone to get to the door, but we have a highly regulated business in which we print very secure documents for folks, and phones are just not allowed in those spaces for a wide variety of reasons. And so in those regulated spaces, a highly secure plastic card is required, both for visual identification, but as well as for secure transmission of those credentials.
And this puts HID in a fairly favorable position because we've got our business of providing plastic credentials to our customers, which we will continue to do so. But at the same point of time, we also understand that there's a massive need, an exponential need for mobile credentials. So that's where we come in.
And by the way, we've seen this type of paradigm shift in the security industry before when the market transitioned from analog to IP, right? Right around the late 90s, early 2000s, nobody used IP cameras. It was all analog cameras.
True.
And then we started to see the shift and then the exponential growth curve of IP. There were still the stragglers in our industry that maintained their analog positions, and a lot of those companies have gone by the wayside and have made room in the space for brands that were born in the IP world. So when we talk about plastic versus mobile and we look at these numbers, what we're seeing is that same paradigm shift. Yep. It's happening now. And if you've been in the security industry for as long as we all have, and we've seen this before, you know what to expect. And this is the time to become educated by watching podcasts like this. Now is the time to get educated on this type of technology because it is the future and it's happening right now.
I think the key takeaway of this is that, as an end user, you have options, right?
Yes.
There's
No
a
doubt.
path to migrate. You don't have to be all in. You can put your feet in the water and eventually you can, climb that ladder. So I think that's a key takeaway for the end users.
And we've got the resources here to help you make that decision. If you got to keep some plastic or bamboo cards, or you're ready to go mobile for certain divisions, we're here. Our team can help you get through that decision process.
Thanks to our expert advisors, Sanjit Bardhan, Phil Coppola, and Jason Schimpf. If you'd like to get one of our experts to advise you on your physical access control system, please visit hodglobal.com. We'd be happy to give you a no obligations consultation to help you on the road to modernizing your access control. I'm Troy Johnston, and this has been the HOD All Access podcast.